Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Ispire wand diamond dab of the day with my Grav bubbler. Hello, everybody. It's the real Senior Stoner. Thanks for joining me. Today is Sunday. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Join the family, send a like my way, and I reply to all those wonderful comments. I bet many of us out there have been criticized over our lives many times. How do you handle criticism? How do you deal with it? Well, if your day gets derailed by criticism, you're not alone. Criticism refers to good and lousy evaluation or judgment. It affects our values. However, we can refrain the naysayers from infiltrating our lives. You can use criticism to get better. Professionals often depend on criticism, both online and offline, to help them do better things for people. You have to evaluate the critic's intention honestly. No one's perfect. So if you got negative feedback objectively, maybe think about your weaknesses and strengths. Maybe it can help you. But if the comment's confrontational, if it's insulting, well, obviously you've got a different approach then. You've got to assess if the feedback is going to be constructive or destructive. You've got to know if the person cares about you, if they're trying to guide you. Is the person simply an authority that could criticize you and demean you? Remember, the reaction to criticism should be based on the intent of the criticism. View the comment as a dialogue because it's tied to the person who said it. Show gratitude to those who offer constructive criticism and challenge those who try to take people down. Try to control your emotions when handling constructive criticism. Refrain from exploding is what I'm trying to say. Two wrongs don't make a right. But don't allow others to injure your self-esteem at the same time. You see, it's truly important to set your emotions aside when responding to criticism. If you apologize for your weakness, it's an indication that you take responsibility. It also changes the situation from combat mode where the other person's assaulting you with criticism to collaboration. Consider the suggestions, not the tone. My father used to say, listen to what I say, not how I say it, because he said it with a strap or a punch. You want to avoid taking the criticism personally. People tend to feel personally offended when somebody criticizes them. They get on their attack stance. It's important to realize that we also criticize others. So, you know what? Wear a smile, even if it's a false one, because it's going to help you relax. A smile will have a positive feeling even in a lousy situation, and it'll lighten the situation. It helps motivate the critic to moderate their approach. I use the smile approach constantly in difficult situations. Mrs. Stoner will say, "How are you, honey?" And she's expecting the litany of things that's wrong with me, and I instead say, "How are you, honey?" with a smile. You want to act on positive feedback as much as possible. Make plans to work on the areas that were highlighted in the positive feedback. And then realize that most critics have some bit of truth in what they say. Even if it's negative, we can learn. We can do self-improvements. Many people can. And then you have to maybe think about silencing the critic. Once in a while, just tell them to shut it down. You haven't lived up to their expectations. That's the way it is. You'll do better the next time. Matter of fact, if you're criticizing me, give me some actionable points, please, instead of just negative comments. You want to let people know when you can't listen. That's right. Don't feel guilty about withdrawing from conversation. Let the person know you appreciate having the discussion, but you know what? We need a more appropriate time really to continue it. Have your side of the story spoken. Tell the critic how you feel about the issue at hand. It's essential. Being overly accommodating to avoid conflict with criticizing people is really not the right way. Maybe a better tack would be to use appropriate timing to speak up with your mind. Get a chance to be heard. And you got to remember, during all this, you got to be compassionate to yourself. You got to be kind to yourself whenever there's destructive feedback. Give yourself what I would call talk and treat. Tell yourself that the criticism hurts and that you'll get through it. But allow your feelings. At times, feeling hurt or angry is inevitable. But burying them is not the right way to go. Therefore, speak up or write them down. Reduce your interactions with harmful people, please. The world has different kinds of people in it. Some thrive off criticizing, demeaning, belittling, and putting other people down. Cut off those people. Anybody that offers constant negative criticism should be building their own identity. And you know what? We should know how to cut our links to these types of people. Because the bottom line, you're going to encounter a lot of constructive and destructive feedback from your family, from your friends, from your colleagues, from strangers. But we can handle it successfully. That's right. It doesn't matter the intent. By responding calmly, acting some of the responses to the feedback, and remember how to address and filter our own criticism that we have on others. You see, it's really lessons to be learned when it comes to criticism. It's really ignoring the false criticism that gives us strength. Sometimes we're criticized without justification. It can be just as painful as when you're criticized for something you've done. Don't remain silent. Stand up for yourself. Tell them you've had enough. And you know what? There's a thing called a pregnant pause. If you're criticized, maybe the best way to handle it in the immediate is to be quiet before you respond. It's called a pregnant pause. Because if you respond with a feeling of anger or injured pride, you're going to regret it. But if we wait patiently, we might be able to reflect in a calmer way. And we have to remember, while we're doing that, to smile. That's right. Smiling, even a fake smile, can help us relax even more. It creates a positive vibration and smooths the situation. It'll definitely help psychologically. Smiling might even motivate the other person to moderate their approach to you. It's so important that we pay attention to criticism because we have to understand which criticism to take and which criticism to ignore. This has been the Real Senior Stoner here today talking about criticism and how do we respond, how do we move forward, what's the best way to deal with life's criticisms. Very interesting. You know what to do if you enjoyed the topic. Let's get our Ispire wand rolling here with our diamond dab of the day. Here we go. Cheers, everybody, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Thanks so much for joining me. Here we go. Ispire wand, Grav bubbler, and I found a carb cap for this puppy. I had broken the original. Here we go. My goodness. Quite the hit. Quite the hit. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining me. The real senior stoner. Dab of the day. Cheers.